Hello, my name is Kathleen Lopez, and this is my population level health education intervention presentation. So, a little bit of information about the city that I was in. I live in Rialto, and that's where I decided to do my project at. So, there are an estimated 80,000 people who live in Rialto. As of 2015, the median age of the population is 28, and the highest percentage of the population is under 19 at 35%. The median housing income is $45,909. 22.5% of the Rialto population lives below the poverty level. So, background and significance. Uh, I got most of my information from my stakeholders in Rialto, as well as a couple of people that I asked, interviewed, who live in Rialto as well. So, from my interviews with the Rialto population, they let me know that they don't really understand how to eat healthy, or they know you got to eat vegetables and stuff like that, but a lot of people think that they don't understand the complexities of nutrition and how maybe to incorporate their own into their own lives, or they don't think that they can eat healthy on a low budget. Um, from my stakeholder, she was telling me about uh, when people come to um, her office, it's a lot of times it's for health, chronic health problems that are uncontrolled, causing more additional complications. And just doing my windshield survey and living in Rialto, I know that there's a lot of fast food places in Rialto. So my ultimate goal is to educate the population to prevent the onset of diabetes or hypertension in those who have not been diagnosed, and to educate those who have been diagnosed to prevent the onset of further complications. So the Healthy People 2020 objectives: increase the proportion of adults aged 20 years or older who are aware of the symptoms of and how to respond to a stroke. Increase the variety and contribution of vegetables into the diets of the population aged 2 years or older. Needs assessment. Like I stated before, stakeholders let me know that many people have difficulty managing their chronic diseases. A lot of diabetes is a very common condition that I hear a lot about, and that is very difficult to manage. People will often come to the hospital after their chronic health conditions get out of control. Based on my windshield survey, nutrition appears to be a big problem for the community, and a lack of health information. So, like I said before, fast food saturation. So there are 2 McDonald's, 3 Burger Kings, 2 Taco Bells, and over 20 other fast food restaurants. And Rialto is not a large place. It's pretty small. There are bigger cities in the San Bernardino County, but just every time I drive down the street, I can drive less than a block and hit a fast food place, no matter where I'm at in Rialto. Issues. So 67% of the population have a high school diploma. That leaves 33% of the population having less than a high school education, and only 9.8% have received a college degree or higher. That could present some complications with people understanding nutrition. In my nutrition class, many people only spoke Spanish, and that was difficult. In my stroke class, people spoke Spanish, but a majority understood English. The issue that I had with my project, my site contact, Gloria, she had an emergency, so my nutrition class had to be rescheduled. So this is the intervention. So I had a stroke class where I went over the explaining stroke by the American Health Association. I printed out, I think, 40 of them, or no, 25. And then I was given magnets and bookmarks by my clinical facilitator. She's a stroke coordinator for the hospital that I work at. And she gave me little things to put on the table as well. So I set up the tables with the pamphlets and the um, centerpiece fast. She also gave me this trifold that talks about the different risk factors of stroke, and so I went over it, and I was able to give everyone a handout as well. And then it would it went over like the diabetes, hypertension, and then what the normal ranges are, and then they could check their own ranges and compare them. So that was a really good tool. So for my nutrition class, it was set at a day that they were giving out food to the entire county. They had over 140 boxes to give out. So I made a trifold as well, right here, just talking about the different macronutrients and what they are, where you can find them, why they're important. And then I printed out 2 healthy recipes that were low budget recipes. And then I printed out some pamphlets going over each of the macronutrients as well that I had put on the board. And then this is the group of people that I took the picture of as they were lining up for to receive their number. However, I had some issues with this class because many people only spoke Spanish, and um, there was too many people, and it was difficult for anybody in the back to hear me. As well, not a lot of people were interested in learning about nutrition, so many people weren't really paying attention. I was able to find a couple of people that were actually interested in what I was saying, so I just kind of focused my education on them, provided them with handouts, and just answered any questions and kind of try to relate it back to nutrition. One of the people that was asking me a lot of questions was somebody with high cholesterol, and so I just let her know like what different uh, types of cholesterol there are, and what kinds of foods will lower their cholesterol, and what kinds of foods might raise their cholesterol. So that was really helpful to get a lot of questions and kind of drive the the teaching. So the budget and logistics for my stroke class, I paid $36 for printed handouts from. I printed them at the UPS store, and they're the pamphlets from the American National Stroke Association. My clinical facilitator provided flyers, magnets, and bookmarks to me, all going over different risk factors for stroke, and was also given posters as well, Spanish posters. I was also provided a trifold presentation board that I kind of highlighted. So in the nutrition class, I spent about $50 on supplies to make my own presentation board. The church was able to provide me with copies of the recipe handouts that I had and the flyers that I had downloaded from Choose My Plate and Nutrition.gov. So I came up with these different goals and outcome evaluations. So for my stroke class, by the end of the stroke education, 90% will know fast. By the end of my stroke education, 90% will know what to do if stroke symptoms occur. And by the end of my stroke education, at least 60 will know at least 2 risk factors for stroke. By the end of the stroke education, at least 60% will know the difference between a stroke and a TIA. I would say that I met the first 3 of my outcome measurements. The last one, many people weren't as sure of what a TIA was than a stroke. They understood that it was like a temporary stroke, but they didn't understand really what it was. Um, and I was able to quiz people to evaluate their knowledge on FAST and different stroke symptoms and risk factors. So for my nutrition class, by the end of the nutrition education, at least 50% of people will be able to read nutritional labels. 75% will understand what a carbohydrate is and what it's used for in the body. 75% will understand what fat is and what it is used for in the body. And 75% will understand what protein is and what it is used for the body. So I didn't really meet any of my goals because most of the class wasn't really paying attention to me. And then I'm not sure if it was difficult to assess if the people that did listen, if they understood what I said as well. So my results. I met all of my goals for the stroke class, like I said. I was unsuccessful in meeting my goals for the nutrition class. Um, Many people weren't interested in learning about the information I provided. There were 50 people there or so, and they spoke a mixture of English and Spanish. So anybody that spoke Spanish, even if they wanted to, they couldn't really understand me because I only speak English. And like I said, I was able to find a small group that was open to learning about nutrition, and so I focused my teaching with them. Um, as I was able actually to plan another health discussion or education about diabetes, and I'll be doing it in September with the church. And I'm going to be doing it in the same setting that I did my stroke education on. So with my stroke education, I did it at a senior breakfast, and I think more people were interested in learning about just information because I was a guest speaker for their breakfast. As well, I was able to provide flyers to the church, and I actually walked by a couple weeks after I had given them to them, and this was on one of their windows. So I'm hoping that somebody will be able to just stop by if they didn't attend my class, and they'll be able to read the poster and know what to do or what signs and symptoms are the stroke, which is how to really disseminate information. And here are my references.